2957. That's the zoning boards appointing basically the structure of the board. This is Planning Commission, County Planning Commission, Resort, Zoning Boards of Appeal, 1984 statute. Basically, it states that they're appointed for a term, and it does not designate at any point that they can be removed for any purpose necessarily. It says they're appointed for a term, and they serve in that until their successors are appointed and qualified. So that does not give any direct authority that I see for the removal of an appointed officer except upon the expiration of the term.
Okay. So,
yeah, the issue may be
violation of the laws and everything, so that's not a...
Well, here's where it gets interesting, because it doesn't say the method doesn't mean there isn't. It just says the statute it just has a blank there where it questions. Now, I defer, first of all, kind of the first level is whenever an elected official is acting contrary to the law, that the only way to remove an elected official is either through ouster or through recall. Right. So those are the traditional methods. And ouster was, recall is just a petition, new election process. And ouster would be, you'd have to take it to the county attorney, and the county attorney would have to proceed with some kind of legal action that meets the standard of ouster. Whether or not this meets that definition is probably, beside the point that the person is not an elected official. So, arguably, that high level, because that's what it's supposed to be. The removal, the ouster and removal of an elected official is supposed to be hard. Okay. Because people are voting and they elected the person in a fair election, and they should not have their judgment set aside easily. Okay. But there is no such right for persons who are appointed. So, at this point, the answer is there is no direct authority for removal. Okay. I would have, and looking at the statute references, it has not been interpreted by the Attorney General or anything of the sort. Okay. So I would be going a lot deeper into it if there is a desire to act in that manner. So, meaning that there has to be, there would be case law. This is a 1984 statute, so it's, for us, understand that's not that old of a statute, right? Not a lot of history, right, behind it. So, case law probably is not going to have much. So we're talking about going out of state case law, general authority saying what
it's an attorney general's opinion, which is not law binding. It's just their opinion. That we believe, or I believe it should be this, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's the law.
Yeah, and that's, but it also is a little bit better than nothing. In the sense that if they said you can do this way,
sure.
You're going to go, oh yeah, that's.
There should be, maybe there is a caveat. If someone breaks the law, goes away to jail, there ought to be a method of it. And that's an extreme, please understand, in my statement of that. But there's got to be something in there that says, well, if a law is broken, this person.
And I think what we'll probably end up, finding in that in-depth thing would be that there's another, a city board or, or another part of the county, setup that says, yeah, you can remove them when you do this. It's just not under the zoning. Nobody's ever done it under the zoning provision.
Anything under, when we made a resolution to create a zoning board back in whatever day, if anything, would there be anything in there that would trump what you're talking about?
Well, I think if the it's hard for me to think if there's a resolution that binds you in a manner that you could not change, legislatively. It's a legislative prerogative that they undertook, you can change it. So if it said something to the effect of, board, they shall appoint who shall serve at the discretion of the board, or upon good behavior, or something to that, those little bits of crumbs that give you that kind of idea that they're at your beck and call, not the legislature. Because there is some thought that probably the legislature, like did here, created a body that is a little bit more than, you guys created a committee to, for veterans.
Right.
Okay. That's a, there's a tier, so we've got to be solicitous in that. So I think the answer, the preliminary answer is that there's no statutory basis for it right now. So, I'd have to, if you want me to try to find the methodology through comparisons, that's going to be a weaker argument, essentially. That can be, and I may find that there's nothing and it's bad news. So, but that's the next step.
Okay. I'd like to go on and research it myself.
You would?
Yeah. Yes.
Dave?
I'm kind of torn on both sides. I don't really know if it's worth spending the time and money for, because ultimately the Board of County Commissioners has the final say.
And I'm almost tempted to say just let's do it and let them prove it's wrong. Because, like I say, the egregious manner that this happened and the I'm more worried about the county getting in trouble for this than the gentleman that was just in here that's going to sue our pants on. I believe that this is more of a egregious situation than that for what he did. Yes or no? I mean, do you disagree with that, or?
Well, I don't disagree with the idea that it's a serious matter. I mean, and more serious than a prior one. I don't blame the bid for having that in mind.
I'm fine with you going ahead and doing a little bit more research, not a lot of time. I'd really like to put this to bed next Monday. I'd like to have some closure on it, and Mr. Willett would too. Part of me, I don't have a problem with giving him a second chance to a certain extent, but there's just got to be something in place if this kind of behavior continues. We can't have a board that has that kind of yeah.
And I think if we get to the actual regulatory side of this, and maybe some of that will let them do these things, because let's start talking about the real aspects of governing this situation. And the details of that, we've got to get everybody on, not growing in the same direction, but just talking about some exceptions rather than this other stuff. So I think I've got the idea here.
Okay.
I mean, I think what my take on it would be, unless I have kind of a good path, scored out by another setup here in the county that makes sense to compare it to. You're not going to want to blaze a trail. You want something to back you up.
So, and so I got a question. What was the statute that you referred to?
KSA 1929-56.
I'm looking at something right here, 15-1603, cities of the third class, but, I mean, you saw that also?
I didn't see that, but
Is that
not strictly applicable to counties.
That is applicable to counties?
It's not.
It is not.
It's not, but yeah, it would be, if there's case law that was enforcing something in the third class city or any city context, that would probably be the equivalent, because if the overarching regulations or the statute for this process that we're in is 12.577 or whatever it is in that area. So it is, if there is a third class city and that has case law that says, this is how you remove somebody, then that would be the comparison. If the statute says they shall be removed by X, Y, Z, or the vote of the council, that's not a good answer. Because then the judge says, well, the legislature knows how to put that in, but they want you to have power to release it. And they didn't here. So,
Okay.
what do we take from that? That they meant it should be able. So, that's how that interpretation works. And we kind of go into
Okay, all right.
Thank you.
Does that make sense?